Hi everyone, this is Peter. Today I want to introduce is the Canon C300 Mark II. So you will ask, okay, what's the difference in between the Mark I and Mark II? First things, okay, Mark II now, okay, it can internal recording 4K. Not only the QHD, also the Cinema 4K. So that is one of the biggest difference in between the Mark I and Mark II. And also they have a lot of like maybe changes. So for the outlook, okay, the first you will find out, okay, now the LCD monitors cables is actually detachable. So it's not like maybe all built into one piece. So the good thing is about is, okay, if you want to have like maybe a longer cable, or maybe if your cable is stripped and then maybe it's damaged, you only need to buy a cable rather than you have to bring the whole LCD monitor maybe to the repair center and then to fix it. So which is actually more maybe user friendly. And the other thing is, okay, a lot of people is complaining about like the handles, okay, click it onto the hot shoe, even the lock it super tight, and then it's still a lot of gap, and then you cannot mount it really tightly. So now, okay, they abandoned these functions. They are using the Allen key to lock this. Other than this, they have come with the a metal mounting, which using another free Allen key to lock the whole stuff onto the camera body, which is super tight, super steady. But the other thing is, that means you need to bring the Allen key. Otherwise, you cannot mount this on. So that is another, a little bit like maybe down. So because the previous versions maybe is actually toolless. You don't need to bring any tools, but now Allen key is actually as a must for your setup. Okay, so remember, Allen key. So other than that, okay, so we're talking about the recording media. As I tell you that like the C300 Mark IIs, okay, they can internal record 4K. So what is the recording media? So now, still Compact Flash, but this time it's a Compact Flash CFast 2.0. So you will ask, oh my goodness, CFast card 2.0. This is a very expensive card. True. But if you compare with the other brand, for example, like Sony F55 using S/S Pro Plus, and also maybe the FS7, which is using the XQD G series card, they are also very expensive too. So hopefully, okay, in the futures, and then the technology, like maybe growing so fast, the price will be dropped dramatically. Okay, but at this moment, yeah, it's a bit pricey. Okay, so about the media, for the 128 gigs CF card, you can only record 40 minutes of the 4K footage. So you might need to buy several units. So the compression formats now for this unit is the XFAVC. So I think the XFAVC is similar than the Sony XAVC or the Panasonic XAVC, something else, and then just only different, like maybe pronounce about like this recording media. And for this, okay, this is a bit special than the others. It's other than you can record 4K onto a 422 10-bit compressions. You on the HD and also 2K, you can even go to a 444 format, which is even less compressions. So I think this is a bit special because normally for another cameras, okay, the maximum you can record onto maybe is only like maybe a 422. So then okay, you can go to 420 or even underneath or even a standard definitions. But for this camera, you can even go for a less compressed for HD and 2K, which is a bit like for me is a bit impressed because sometimes you might need to have like maybe a less compressed onto maybe a lower format, for example HD and 2K. So now this camera can do that internally. Okay. The other thing is the lock. So now the lock, other than the Canon Log, they are now pronounced a new lock is called the Canon Log 2. The Canon Log 2 I think is similar than the Sony S-Log 3, S-Log 2. So now the diode range is actually wider than the previous versions. So now it can actually go to 15 stops of the diode range. So now more like diode range now. And also on the C Log 2, you can also go to a different log, for example, a C Gamut or a 709, and then which you can have much more things to set up. Okay, other than that, I have to mention about like the AF because the dual AF always be a winner for the C series camera. So now, okay, they also improved the dual AF. On the other hand, on the menu, you can have a lot of setting too. So first, okay, I have to mention about like the previous version of the Dual AF, you can only have like a particular on the center of your frame, just a small bits and then to do the AF. But now they expand the AF area to almost 80% of your screens. So that means when maybe there is a things like moving quite fast and then all over maybe your shots, it might be easier for you to focus rather than you always have to put it in the center and then to just like maybe chasing the photo AF. And the other thing is, okay, they can also set the AF response. So I think this is good because sometimes, okay, for me, I rather have slower like AF response, but maybe it's a smoother focus. So for me, okay, I rather go for maybe a slightly lower bit. So you can start from super fast AF response from +3 to -3. So which I think like is more user friendly and then for you to do everything. And but other than that, okay, there is some like maybe always have an advantage and a disadvantage. For me, okay, first, the screen for the C300 Mark II doesn't really have a big changes compared with the C300 Mark I. So this is, for me, I hopefully have a better light resolutions. But now, okay, same. And the other thing is, okay, now, because the power consumptions of this camcorder, this C300 Mark II, is actually more than the previous versions. So that's why they have introduced a new series of batteries. So what's that mean? So that means you have to buy a new sets of batteries for your C300 Mark II. And also the other thing is, the dual charger is about that big. So which is a bit like maybe bulky, especially when you go overseas and then with a big like maybe a charger like this and only just charge dual. For the size, I expect to charge 4 batteries, but only 2, okay. All right. So also another thing is, as this camera is so professional, I don't know why they are still using the traditional mounting system, which is the using on the DSLR and also the C300 Mark I. Because you will find out that, okay, if you're using tele-lens and then with this kind of mounting, you will see the shots is actually moving because there is a gap in between the lens and also on the mounting. But, okay, Canon have launched that, okay, if you are unhappy about like this mounting, you can bring this camera to the repair center and then they can upgrade it into the mounting which is the same as the C500, which you can actually twist it and then you can mount it tightly without any gaps. But there is an extra cost for this, and hopefully maybe they will come with something which is already built in with that mounting, because I think like for a lot of people which using tele-lens with the shots moving, I think this is a bit painful for maybe for your shoots. But other than that, okay, this camera probably I think like they have a lot of improvement, and then maybe I will strongly recommend this for you. So if you want to know more about this C300 Mark II, please visit ANS website.